Welcome to 2A Cops, Cops Supporting Gun Rights. My name is Keith. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Police Department is going to give guns to people that are in this country illegally. You heard that absolutely correctly. They are prohibited persons. Under federal law, they can't have a firearm. Now, look, I'm a 30-year retired cop, and this is going to cause me a little bit of grief from the world that I came from. So the least you can do is hit that subscribe button, hit follow, hit the little notification bell, leave a comment because the algorithm likes it. It's the least that you can do so I can keep bringing all of this 2A type news to you and let you know that there are cops that support the Second Amendment. In fact, a majority of cops support the Second Amendment. All right, let's get into what the LAPD is doing right now. So they're going to allow non-citizen DACA recipients who become sworn officers the ability to carry a firearm full time. Okay, DACA is that deferred action for childhood arrivals. Essentially, it's parents came here illegally, they brought their children with them, and people look at it as the kids didn't have a choice, and now they're in the United States and they don't know their other home. Okay, regardless, they're not here legally. And I worked with a lot of cops that were immigrants, but they all came here legally. I worked with people from Vietnam, from Cambodia, from Mexico. They were first generation in the United States. They were born in their respective countries and came here. They all came here legally, and they were great cops. It's not that we don't want immigrants to be cops. We want them to be cops because some of the best cops I know were immigrants, but they have to come here legally. And I talked to my friends that came from other countries, and straight up, they were upset about what's going on here. So on Tuesday, Michael Moore, funny name for a police chief, if you get what I'm saying there, told the Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners unanimously approved the outline of a policy that would allow DACA recipients the capacity to carry a firearm off the job. So they'll carry one on duty. Now let's just back up for a minute. It's crazy that a non-citizen is arresting a citizen. But now we're going to give gun rights to non-citizens that are greater than people that are covered by the Constitution. Seriously, the jokes write themselves in California. And here's the kicker, okay? This is specifically from Chief Moore. He said, we're working closely with the Department of Justice at the state and federal level to express the fact that we desire to form a model policy that we think meets this moment and is the state of the law and provisions of immigration policy in the United States. Okay, so they're working with state and federal DOJ to allow these people to violate the law to possess a firearm. Think about that. Some people watching this right now have had their right to have a firearm revoked, and they're going to give it to a non-citizen who doesn't even have the right to have a firearm. They can't go into a gun store and buy a firearm. Think about how crazy that is. Now, specifically, the federal provision that prohibits them from having a gun is 18 U.S.C. 922 G5A. It says people who are illegally or unlawfully in the United States are prohibited from purchasing, selling, possessing, or handling firearms or ammunition. So the big question is, are DACA recipients illegally or unlawfully in the United States? Now, when you're talking about possession of firearms, yes. The key point here is that for the purpose of this law, courts do consider DACA recipients to be unlawfully in the United States. This means that if you have DACA or are completely undocumented, it's illegal for you to buy or own guns or even to go to a gun range and fire weapons. And also, just because someone has fired guns at a range or even purchased a gun, it doesn't mean that it was legal to do so. So when they go to the academy and they have to train, the trainers at the academy know it's unlawful, and they're allowing a crime to occur in their range. People that issue those guns to those people are committing a felony by giving them the guns, let alone the department. And what's crazy is the Department of Justice, the state level, which the California State DOJ are really not, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but they have really squashed down on the rights of Californians nonstop. And Matt and I have talked about that in several videos before. Now, the kicker here is an LAPD source told Fox News that being a police officer is a full-time job, and not allowing a DACA recipient the ability to carry a weapon could potentially jeopardize their life. They said it's a safety issue for them because they often work in the communities that they police. It's happened more than once where I've run into people, this isn't me, this is the LAPD source. It's happened more than once where I've run into people off duty that I've either arrested or are family members of a gang member that I sent to prison for 20 years, and I'm with my family. I'm armed, but these individuals won't be. All right, so it's okay for them to have guns, but they're in the same city you are, testifying You want them to come forward and testify in murders that they see, but you won't let them have a gun, but it's okay to give it to an illegal alien. Are we just seeing the hypocrisy here? LAPD says it currently has one DACA recipient who recently graduated from the police academy and could be working at any time. There are 9 DACA recipients scheduled to graduate and potentially join the force in the spring. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department told Fox News that 6 DACA recipients recently graduated from the academy and are sworn police officer. It has 9 DACA recruits in training. And LAPD and LASO aren't the only ones. CHP, I understand, has some, and there are many other agencies because California made it legal for illegal aliens to now come and be police officers and have more gun rights than you, go out and arrest citizens. We live in clown world, people. Now, the part that saddens me is the Los Angeles Police Protective League, LAPPL. They're the union representing law enforcement for Los Angeles. They represent 9,200 officers, and they're backing this policy. They said in a statement, it has been the long-standing position of the Los Angeles Police Protective League that our members are police officers 24 hours a day, and as such, they should be afforded all the legal rights and protections the same if they were clocked into their respective shifts. Seriously, LAPPL? What are you guys doing here? Like, at what point, I know all LAPD guys don't agree with this whole DACA thing going on, and it just shows you that they didn't have to defund the police. They just had to make all of us so miserable that we all quit and moved on. And now the only way they can get people to fill the job is by hiring illegal aliens. That's where we're at in clown world. So what can you do to correct this? Number one, you can let your state representative know that California is reaching out to the federal DOJ to make some kind of a waiver for firearms for DACA recipients. And they're doing this solely so that DACA people can have it while regular people can't. And you should let your elected representative know that you're not good with that. If you're an elected representative watching this, why are you letting that even happen? How come there isn't a statement out from DOJ saying we're not entertaining this? Lastly, the most important thing that you can do is you can actually support. It's this hatred for the police that came from the right and the left that made all of us quit. By making all of us miserable, the good people left, and you needed us. You needed us to be working, but you left us behind and we took off because it was untenable. We can't do our job. And the only way it's going to get better is you make it to where we don't mind working again. And the last most important thing that you can do is to remember your ABCs. Always be caring.